Hello everyone, my name is Morgan Wills. I'm a junior here at Althoff Catholic. What you'll be watching today is our first ever broadcast. The first semester we focus on how to get the camera working, the lightings, the microphones, the soundboard, all that stuff. So this is our first ever take, and yeah.
We hope you enjoy this broadcast. Good morning, Althoff Crusaders. I'm Thomas Nickel.
And I'm Morgan Wills. Welcome to CBN.
Today we will be having a broadcast on some sports, current events, clubs, and we'll be having a special debate on video games.
That sounds great. We'll be going to Tyler to hear more about current events.
Thanks guys. Now for some U.S. news. On Tuesday night, President Trump gave a State of the Union speech as he talked about how medical drugs in the U.S. are way too expensive and how trafficking of drugs has become a big problem in the United States. He also brought up talks about the border wall funding and how they need to get something settled before the government shutdown resumes on February 12th. However, until then, government officials and members of the TSA will be getting paid and will be able to support their families. On another note, Donald Trump has set up a summit with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un on nuclear peace talks since things have been escalating as they want to de-escalate things. On a more international level, the British Prime Minister had a plan of Brexit to leave the European Union so they become more independent. However, Parliament has shut that idea down and they will look forward to it more down the road. On a lighter note, Tom Brady and the Patriots took down the Rams 13-3 as he captured his 6th Super Bowl ring. Thanks guys, back to you.
Is gaming a sport? Here in the studio we have students Elliot Hoffman and Lucas Aldridge. They will be debating the topic on if gaming is a sport.
Good morning, Crusaders. I'm Lucas Allred.
I'm Elliot Hoffman.
And this is this week's editorial debating whether or not video games can be considered a sport. I personally do not consider video games a sport as they require no physical activity and the competition is almost non-existent.
I believe that there is much competition and also that it is also a physical activity.
Well, compared to other sports, I don't really think it can be matched with this likes of baseball or the likes of football.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't really think it's ever going to be on like a big stage like it is like the Super Bowl or the World Series.
I think it's already bigger, like as big as like the NHL or Stanley Cup.
Yeah, but I mean the NHL's falling apart. I mean, it's not as fun to watch anymore, especially with the Blues, which they're god awful, which we don't even have to talk about. But and then I mean, I don't think competition requires something to be a sport because I mean, you have these people that are staying inside 8 hours a day playing video games constantly.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not taking any physical taxing work other than getting yourself tired. And it doesn't take the physical taxing work that the sports like baseball or sports like football or shoot even hockey that take.
I don't think it has as much physical activity as those. They could have as much physical activity as say like golf or bowling.
Yeah, but I mean, I would probably agree with bowling. But I mean, golf, you're still walking 18 holes, and it still could be hot outside, and like you still have mechanics you have to work on with your swing. Golf is probably one of the hardest sports out there to play, second to baseball, of course. But I mean, yeah, I don't really think, and all competition does not equal sport. The competition and the games is just not as lackluster. I mean, it is as lackluster as sports like bowling or like chess, if you even consider chess a sport. But I mean, if you're considering video games a sport, then you're considering the sports as like chess or like math team or scholar ball, something like that.
I think if you consider chess a sport, you gotta consider like gaming a sport.
Yeah, and I, in all honesty, do not consider chess a sport because
chess is a sport considered by the Olympic Committee.
I don't care about the Olympic Committee, but because I'm right. So yeah, that's all we have for you this week. Thanks for watching, and back to you.
These are some interesting opinions that in no way reflect the views of Althoff Catholic.
Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section.
Next up is lunch. Let's send it off to Greg.
Thanks, guys. This week's lunch choices seem very delicious. On Monday, we got breaded chicken drumsticks with buttery peas. On Tuesday, we got the backyard burger with glazed carrots. On Wednesday, we got the country chicken nugget bowl. On Thursday, we got chicken and noodles with the roll. And last but not least, on Friday, we got chicken and a chili crispito. Back to you guys in the studio.
Looks like some delightful options for lunch this week.
We're going to hand it off to Jets to get some inside scoops on the Student of the Week.
I'm here with this week's Student of the Week, Michael Ortano.
Hello.
Michael, do you know why you won Student of the Week this week?
I'm not exactly sure, but I assume it's because one of the teachers caught me doing something nice for someone else, and they saw that act of kindness and took it upon themselves to make me Student of the Week.
So when you win Student of the Week, you win a Tavern on the Main gift certificate and a parking spot in front of the school.
Yes.
Will you use either of these?
I will definitely use the parking spot. No, not the parking spot. I won't use the parking spot. I'll use the coupon. The coupon I'll use at Tavern on Main because I like food. And the parking spot I won't use because I'm actually out in front of Heritage Hall. I do all my stuff. Plays,
Got
music. Yeah.
So, have you ever won Student of the Week before? Is this your
I have not. It's my first time.
first time? Do you have any advice for people in the future who want to win Student of the Week?
Just be nice. Be nice. Be respectful. Like, do things that you think other people like to see you to do.
So, like when you heard that you won Student of the Week, was this like a total surprise or did you kind of see it coming?
I was just sitting in study hall, and it was like, Michael Ortano wants Student of the Week. I'm like, okay.
Alright. That's this week's Student of the Week, Michael Ortano.
You know, we have some pretty amazing teachers here at Althoff Catholic.
Yeah, we do. Nick Alberico is going to interview Miss Miller, who is a part of our math department. Nick, on to you.
I'm here with Miss Miller, and I'm going to be asking her a couple questions today. What made you want to be a teacher?
What made me want to be a teacher? Well, as a student, I always enjoyed school. And when my two sons were little and I'd walk the halls of Queen of Peace, which was also my alma mater, it just felt right. I did some training, because I was in banking for 20 years before I got into teaching full time. So I did training there and kind of got a feel for what teaching would be like. So all those put together, I kind of came to the decision to leave banking and get into education.
How long have you been teaching?
I've been here at Althoff for this is my 21st school year. I taught 15 years, and I left the classroom to go to the advancement office, and now I'm back in, and hopefully I'll be full-time again next year.
Where have you taught at so far?
Well, I did my student teaching at Belleville West, but then my first full-time teaching job was here at Althoff, so.
Why did you want to teach at all?
Well, it's my alma mater. I mean, I graduated from Althoff, so it was kind of like coming home. And it's close to my house, and I grew up in a Catholic education system, all my education, so I thought it was a good fit for me.
What do you teach at Althoff?
What do I teach? I have a wonderful group of Honors Algebra 2 students. Over the years, I have taught all levels of algebra, Algebra 1, Algebra 2, college algebra, and various levels of geometry. So.
Do you like teaching at Althoff?
Oh, I do. I love it. I love it.
What's your favorite part of Althoff?
The students. I love my students.
What's your least favorite part of Althoff?
That was probably the toughest question I knew you were going to ask me. And I don't know that this is specifically about Althoff, but about teaching in general. Is it okay if I?
Yeah, that's okay.
I find it frustrating when I can't motivate students to give their best and try their hardest and achieve to the best of their ability. That, to me, is just frustrating. I would like to be able to do better at that.
How do you think the kids treat each other?
For the most part, personally, what I witnessed, I think you guys are pretty respectful to each other. Occasionally, there'll be the teasing, particularly amongst the guys. back and forth jabbing, stuff. But overall, I mean, even I see empathy and I see caring, so I think overall in general I would say very respectfully.
Do you think people get bullied at Althoff?
Nick, to be honest with you, I think people get bullied whenever there's a large group of people in any setting, whether it's the workplace, another school. Here, I don't witness anything really chronic. Like I mentioned, the little teasing, because some people can take that teasing to be, they might take it personally, even though it wasn't intended personally. So I'm not so naive as to think there isn't bullying going on, but I really don't see anything chronic.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Nick.
Many things are happening here at Althoff Catholic. We're going to head it on over to Miles to hear more about it.
Guys, let's start off with some basketball. On Tuesday night, our boys basketball team played at Carbondale and took a big win, 53-44. With that win, they improved their conference record and they continue to sit atop the South 7 Conference. Make sure you're ready for the basketball game on Friday night, which will be at home against Marion. JV games will start at 6, which means the varsity game will probably start about 7:30. So make sure you come out and support your Crusaders. Girls basketball team will begin their regionals on Wednesday night. Unfortunately, due to the time of this broadcast, we do not know the outcome of the game yet, but they will be playing Wednesday night, and we will let you know the information on that game as soon as possible. To wrestling, the sectionals round starts this weekend. 9 of our wrestlers will be advancing to that round. 4 of the top 4 in each of the respective weight classes will advance to the state tournament, which happens next week, Thursday through Saturday. To our final topic, dance. The dance team just got out of the regional round and they qualified in all 3 of their dances, lyrical, pom, and jazz. With that, they'll be advancing to the final round of the tournament, the state championship, which will be this weekend held in Springfield. Good luck to the dance team.
Thanks, Miles. Next, we will be going to Boyd to talk about a special club interview with Mrs. Schaefer regarding Big Brothers and Big Sisters.
So Big Brothers and Big Sisters, what does this club generally do?
So Big Brothers Big Sisters is an organization based in Southern Illinois, and it allows students to be bigs to littles. They mentor students at the area grade schools.
Okay. And where does this club generally meet?
Our students mentor at Abraham Lincoln and Signal Hill Grade School here in Belleville.
Are there any other schools in the Belleville area that are doing this club or are in partnership with Althoff?
So other high school students like Belleville West, Belleville East are bigs. Currently we have over 25 Althoff students that serve as a big to a little at the 2 area schools we help.
How many students join this club after they are freshmen and go on from their sophomore through senior year?
So generally it's sophomore year. We offer the opportunity to students to join. And because part of it is transportation, they have to be able to get there and get back to school on a Wednesday on our light day.
Okay. Are there any requirements to join the club, like an interview or any sort of thing like that?
So there's an application process. Once they complete the application, they have a background check, and then the mentor lady from BIG, Emily, usually comes to Althoff and does an interview to match up the big with the little.
And do the big brothers and little brothers or any of the little kids meet the big kids beforehand, or do they introduce them on the spot?
So after they have interviewed the big and the little, they try and match them by interests, and then once they start, they may have their little for the next 2 or 3 years, or they may change their little each year depending on if they like to change and have a new big.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Boyd. I really recommend this club to other students. I think this is a great opportunity to give back to the youth of our community, and most importantly, being a great role model. I've been a big sister since my sophomore year, and I really enjoy it.
Thanks, Morgan and Boyd. Now we will have an exclusive interview with Dylan and the newest IBCA Hall of Fame coach.
Dylan, on to you.
And now I'm here this morning with Coach Lee. How have you been doing, Coach?
I've been doing great. Anytime you get to go to school, it's like, it's a good way to kick off your week. I know most people mope around about it, especially the seniors. You see them walking through the halls today. But I'm doing well.
What makes you coach? Like, what makes you want to be a coach and coach the sport?
Well, I think, when you first start out, it's about it's something you have passion for. Basketball, something I have great passion for. It's, with playing and that, and as you change over time, it's more about, the relationships you build with kids over the years. Still have the same passion for the game, but, the win and losing isn't as important as, the relationships that you build.
A lot of relationships built all the time. How did you improve from last year to this year as a team?
Well, I just think in high school, just getting a year older. Kids kids develop mature from 14 to 15, 15 to 16, and their bodies mature. And I think that's a big piece. I think the other piece is, the guys did a lot. They prepared a lot. They played a lot of basketball between last year and this year, and all the, maybe the stumbling blocks and obstacles we didn't get through last year, we're starting to get through this year. And it's like with anything, it's a process. If they work at it, that you can get better and you can achieve what you want to achieve. So the guys put a lot of good work in, and we still have a ton of improvement to do, but I'm fairly pleased with where we're at right now.
What do you think are the team's strengths and weaknesses as this year has continued?
Well, I think strength-wise is, they all have pretty good basketball IQs. So we're able to do a lot. We don't have to necessarily, be as redundant as sometimes where we have to go over. These guys catch on it. From that, they're also able to counter. And when a play gets blown up, they have they have the ability to counter that play and still make a play out of it. I think that's a tremendous strength that these guys have, and they shoot the ball pretty well. Some areas we need to get better at, I think, are our shot selection, our patience on offense, and then offensively, I think if we get better at that and determine where we get shots at, we're going to be extremely difficult to match up with, because we have speed, we have shooters, we have size. Defensively, I'd like to see us do a little bit better job of taking charges. We don't. I don't. In my opinion, we don't do a well enough job of getting out there and trying to take charges. But all that being said, all those are correctable errors. It's nothing that is that we can't fix, and it's not a real long-term fix. Those things can be fixed rather quickly.
Thanks, Dylan.
The virtue of the week is legacy. On to Darius to hear more.
Today on CBN, I will be interviewing Miss Fuller. Miss Fuller works in our Dapper department. Miss Fuller, how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely fine. How are you?
Good. This week, our virtue is legacy. Miss Fuller, I have 4 questions for you that I'm going to answer.
Okay.
Miss Fuller, the virtue of the week is legacy. What does having a legacy mean to you?
Having a legacy means leaving your mark on a place. That mark can come in many different forms, but I think everybody likes to be remembered for doing something good.
Do you believe that you yourself will have a legacy at Alsop Catholic once you hang up teaching?
I certainly hope so. I think every teacher in the school is going to be leaving their mark or their legacy on the school in some way, shape, or form.
Do you believe that you yourself, what type of legacy do you want to leave at Alsop Catholic?
Okay, the type of legacy that I would like to leave, the impression that I would like to leave, or the mark that I would like to make, or the way I would like to be remembered, however you want to look at this, is that I was fair and prepared, and that I gave it my all, and that everybody sees that I did that I was willing to always be helpful to my students, and to support the school in every way that I possibly could.
Do you have a role model or somebody you look up to whose legacy means something to you?
The role model that I look up to the most is probably my aunt, my mom's sister. It would be a toss-up between my mom and my aunt. They both have incredible legacies, but it would have to be my aunt. She has just done so much to further Catholic education. She set up her own a personalized education program for kids who were put out of school for various reasons because of no tolerance policies. And she did it all with her own money. She made the kids volunteer. She gave them $25 savings bonds for perfect attendance to encourage them to come to school and to complete their education. And most of those students that she worked with were able to go back into the regular school system and finish their education and lived very successful lives. So she is definitely my role model.
Thanks, Darius. On to John and Jack to hear more about some upcoming events.
Thanks, guys. There's plenty going on this week. And to start off our week, there will be the Althoff Catholic Blood Drive on Monday, the 11th. It will be taking place from Heritage Hall from 6:30 to 1. Anyone who'd like to donate is welcome to donate. And I'd also like to remind the students that it will be a C day that day and not a B day. And next, the Queen of Hearts, which will be taking on Wednesday, the 13th. It will be taking place at the 4204 Banquet Center. They will stop selling tickets at 6:45 and they will begin drawing at 7 o'clock. And also, Althoff Catholic's registration for the 2019-2020 school year will be taking place on the 19th and 21st of February for any incoming freshmen. It will also be taking place from 3:30 to 7:30 on both of these days.
Thanks, John Jack.
On to Drew to hear more from Mrs. Laws, who is the leader of the drama crew.
So, how much work do you and like the cast work throughout the year to just work through these plays?
Well, we have been rehearsing for the past 2 or 2.5 weeks. I'm here every day from right after school until 8 or 8:30 every night, and I have 2 sessions of rehearsals. That's to make sure that kids who have after-school activities or work can still come to rehearsal, whether it be from 3:30 to 5:30 or from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We're trying to work around everyone's schedules, especially with the junior high kids involved. Their definite school activities are all right after school, whereas some of our Althoff kids have their afternoons free too.
So, given that, how many plays do you guys generally do a year?
We probably do, I would say, 5 or 6 is a good number if you count the entire year. We do 2 summer camps in the summer with the Crusader camp program. We do one in June for 2 weeks, and then we do one in July for 2 weeks. At Christmas time, we do another camp, and all these camps are set up for the junior high and grade school kids. We have kids sometimes as young as 4 years old, up through 14 in our programs. That's kind of like they come from our feeder schools to help build our program. And when you're a student here, we do a fall show, which is sometimes a comedy or a drama, and sometimes it's a musical. And usually musicals are mostly comedies. There are some serious musicals. And then in the spring, we do a big spring all-school musical. This year we're going to be doing Fiddler on the Roof. This will be my 3rd time directing it here at Althoff, but my 5th or 6th time working on it. It is one of the things I'm looking forward to most. The spring musical is big. We get a lot more people involved in it. A lot more people come to see it. Since it is something that we've done about 3 times, we actually hope to have some of the people from the former casts come back and see it and kind of come into the building. We also use grade school kids in that show, and we actually might be using some surprise guests filling out some of our cast roles for that as well. And then, of course, we do the Catholic Schools Week play. We've been doing that for about 4 years now, so this is our 4th year doing it.
Thanks, Drew.
Well, everyone, that wraps up our broadcast for today.
Make sure to let us know what you would like to hear more about.
And also, make sure you follow us on our social media.
Our Instagram is Althoff Catholic.
Our Twitter is Althoff Catholic.
And our Facebook is... You guessed it, Althoff Catholic.
Thank you, students, staff, teachers, and alums for tuning in. And next week, we'll see you on CBN.